So we're going to look at NVIDIA real quick. The thing about NVIDIA is obviously today there was massive news on NVIDIA with the OpenAI investment that's going to now be happening. I'm not sure who's paying who in these things anymore. It looks like you just pay someone to pay someone else. But if we're looking at what's going on in AMD, I am blown away to think about what type of moves we've seen. The reason why is because this thing can trend. You can look at what it's been doing since it looks like the end of 2024, just about approximately a year ago. This thing essentially was just falling in a bearish move. It looks like it completely started to reverse here in May. Looks like the top of that move was done in August, and we have seen it essentially either what you'd consider to be consolidating, basing, I'm not sure, but this thing has been essentially showing bearish conditions without really breaking down. Now we've gotten that range that's gotten pretty tight, and we got this massive move. Now, if you're looking at this chart, the one thing that I like about this is that you can see that currently with this thing, it says it was down 10.04% today. But if we go down to the data table, you can tell that this thing was actually up 23% today. The reason why there's a difference is because this 23% is the calculation between yesterday's close and today's close. Where, if you are looking at this chart, this is from today's open to today's close. And I think this is instructive because while you got a gap up in AMD, it is not showing you that it had follow through during the day. Yes, there was a big pop, but nobody was gobbling up those shares at a higher level. Super fascinating that we had the highest volume that we've seen in probably or over a year inside of AMD as well. And if we're looking at the sentiment, this thing is barely at 50% bullishness. Generally, I want to see this above 50%. That's that black line. You can see when you've got moves like this where you're up at 55, 60, 61. That's where the moves are really going to be taking place. Even on the 15-day, when it comes to the sentiment, we haven't seen it necessarily capture that 50% line, still at 47% bullishness. We are looking at what I love is that we've seen recent falling volatility. A complete reset of volatility has now occurred. So whatever we see from here is probably going to be a massive move, probably higher just based on what we've seen recently, especially considering the fact that the way that the market is moving right now, anything related to AMD, anything related to AI is just crushing it. The thing that I'd have to say I'm a little concerned with is that we're looking at the price. It is red with black, it is red with white lettering in the back, or red lettering with a white background. That means it's extremely high, which you'd expect. Obviously, the 246 million shares traded today is an extreme high, probably the highest that we've seen again back to a full year. This thing flipped from what was used to be bearish to bullish, or from bearish to bullish completely. Obviously, the trade levels got to catch up. We're well above the top of the range. That's obviously going to take some time to catch up. We look at where we are. The thing that I'd say is the most positive is that we've just recently broken that 1 month rolling return. It was negative for what looks like quite a while there. It looks like we were negative from the middle of August when we saw that bearishness. Essentially, creep in was in the middle of August. We went bearish, and then we went negative on the 1 month rolling return a few short days later. Essentially, what we've seen now is a complete resumption of bullishness inside of the stock. I'm very curious what you think. Tell me in the comments below. I'll talk to you soon.